All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's going on, Colts Nation? So, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties with Loyalist right now, and he will, I'm sure, find a way of joining us. He's a little frozen. He is in the chat, though, as you can see. So what I'm going to do before we get started is, obviously, don't forget, smash that like button, hit subscribe, you know, all that neat stuff. But Loyalist was kind enough to do a little quick 4 or 5 minute video at the end of practice today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play that and give Loyalist that 4 or 5 minute time frame to hopefully be able to figure out what's going on. All right, so thanks Truitt for being here, and Matt Stansberry, and of course Brandon Wood. Let's go check out that video that he posted on his thoughts of today.
Hey there, guys. Out here for another beautiful day, watching the Colts training camp. Got to see a lot of new faces, guys returning from the COVID protocol, so that was nice to see. So we got to see our first look at Xavier Rhodes out here today. You guys were asking me to keep an eye on some of the later string guys, so I kept an eye out for Tariq Black and young man out of USC, I forget, Tyler Vaughn. There we go. Sorry about that. They didn't really have a whole lot today. You know, I seen one really nice catch out of Tariq. But like I said, today was a lot of the ones and twos. Something I noticed that we didn't get to see Morton out here today, so I'm not sure if he was released or what. Normally he was out here. I haven't heard anything, but I got here around 8 o'clock, so you know how that goes. But today was definitely another day won by the defense. The offense had some little shiny moments, but the defense won on the whole. Today Jacob just seemed to be, everything just seemed to be really amped up. If it wasn't a 5 or 6 yard check down, he was overthrown. Sam today, I can say, in my opinion, this was his first day to actually outperform him. Jacob, quite honestly, Jacob had a pretty bad day. I would say he had probably 8, maybe 9. I lost track, to be quite honest with you. Overthrows today. He just seemed to, like I say, he just didn't seem to have it going on. Only guy he seemed to connect with any regular ability was the guy we told you about the other day, was Zach Pascal. Them two just, I mean, it's like when he's throwing, it's a confidence thing almost. It's like when he's throwing to Zach, that thing just looks like everything, you know, prototypical, exactly what you want to see. Leads him real nicely, puts the ball right in the perfect spot, and Zach rewards him with catching it every time. Sam was out there today, like I said. He had some okay throws, but you know, nothing overly spectacular. He had a nice 12-yard sideline throw that came out with some decent velocity. He did have this one, man. If he could have just made that connection. He rolled out to his left, and then he put, I don't even remember who the defensive end was at the time, but he just stuttered him, and the guy just locked up, and then he took like 3 steps and let it rip and hit JT, but it just, like I said, it was one of those that I feel like JT could have caught it, but it was still a little out of position. As a whole, you know, like I said, today was won by the defense. Really wasn't a whole lot of spectacular activity today. I don't know. I mean, here again, I came hoping for pads and didn't get to see that, but it was nice to see Al-Qadim Muhammad and Xavier Rhodes, and I actually got to see Julian Davenport for the first time today. So I'll tell you what, just seeing him physically, you know, it's impressive. Now, I know I've watched him play enough to know that looks can be deceiving, but didn't really see a whole lot of anything that stood out as overwhelming today. I mean, as a whole, I think even for the defense, I think the coaches would have to admit that today there's a lot of notes and a lot of lessons to be learned from. Day 8, I think it is. So, we still got a little over a week and a half for these guys to work it out and get their rhythm and stuff. Jacob Eason got a lot more reps today than the other 2 quarterbacks, and unfortunately he didn't capitalize on that a whole lot. A lot of the checkdowns I feel like were just planned by the coaches. You know what I mean? He did have a couple where you see him going through his first and second, even into his third progression, so that was nice to see. And you know what? I don't know if this is wishful thinking, but it just seemed to me that he's getting more comfortable moving around in the pocket. Unfortunately, he needed it today. As usual, we'll get together on Patreon and we'll discuss it and answer questions. So I hope to see you guys tonight. Have a good one.
All right, we're back. And, it does sound a lot like that. But guess what? Just as the video ended, ta-da! What's up, Loyalist?
Oh, man. I don't even know what's going on right now. The original setup didn't work today, so I got here like 8 minutes to go, and then it's just been a madhouse since. Okay.
Yeah. So, Toxic says it sounds like one of those days you need to work out the kinks, right? You got some kinks you got to work out, and that's kind of basically looks like we got you froze again. You're in and out. There you are. You look like you're better again, or maybe not. I don't know. Oh, there, I saw you blink. Now you're just playing with us. So, kind of a rough day overall in camp today.
Yeah, definitely. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you fine.
Okay.
I think we all hear. Now he's trying to play. No, I hear you fine. I see you fine. Everything's streaming fine. So, let us know generally. See, like Unboxing Mania, I want to jump on his comment real quick because I've never seen him before. And I want to say, welcome to Colts Law. Appreciate you being here. And he asks how the Colts' top pick has been playing. And we've both had our eyes on Kwity Paye throughout this camp. Why don't you go ahead, let people know your general thoughts. I know we've said this a million times over the past week because, every day somebody new asks. But, that's what we're here for. Let people know. So why don't you go ahead and let Unboxing Mania know how you feel about Kwity Paye's performance so far in training camp.
Okay. In training camp as a whole, it's been, for a rookie, it's been really good. I'm very pleased with what I've seen up to this point. And I like the way that this young man, if something's not working right and stuff, instead of moving on or trying to do something different, he keeps working on it. He don't care if everybody's, what they're saying as far as, oh, he's not getting by the guy or whatever, but it's because he's working on a move or something. And that's one thing Coach Baker said about him was that he was really just good at staying focused on the details and wasn't worried about all the fans and stuff and what they were doing. But, his explosion off the ball's really good. And I'm excited. I'm really excited, to be honest.
Yeah, honestly, I think our defensive coordinator said it best in his press conference today. I don't know if you had a chance to see it because I know you.
Sorry, I haven't.
Yeah, I understand. I know what it's like coming back from camp and you're just like, I ain't got time to do anything else except set up and get ready and do stuff and get a little bit of my real life stuff that I normally, have to do out of the way before I go live with everybody.
Yeah,
but,
well, if I could get my son to walk from school the 19 miles or whatever, I'd be fine. That was the big thing for me. They had a bus breakdown, so I was like rushing around getting him home.
Oh, yeah, 19
best
miles.
laid plans never work.
My goodness. Now, I walk back and forth to school 3 miles every day. I don't know if I would have done it for 19. All right,
Nope.
19's a chunk. All right.
Yeah, especially now that we moved them into a new school district. That would have He'd have been coming in all hot and sweaty every day and been like, "Oh, he's a stinky kid."
And 3 hours later, I mean, but basically, Matt Eberflus said about Kwity Paye that his speed rush and power rush is really nice. It's getting him where he needs to be, but what they've been working on is counter moves. And they're just working right now on one counter move. Get him that one counter move. That way he's got something he can work with on that speed and the power. And then if someone locks him up, he's able to free himself or try to free himself off a counter when they're prepared for that speed power. So that's a good sign from Eberflus. He's got a big thumbs up. He thinks he's doing really well, especially for a rookie. And from what I've seen, that's pretty much how I've seen it this whole time as well. You know what I mean? He's got a really good get off the ball at the snap, and if you could get your hands on him before he gets around you, you got a chance to stop him. But it's
and the best thing I think to describe it is he has two types of episodes. He either has a successful episode or he has a learning episode. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He really does. You can see it. I mean, you can just see him. He's like frothing at the mouth. And I mean, my point is he's really taken the coaching well, and you can see that, and he doesn't make the same mistake over and over. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He really does seem to be one of those guys that if you see him make one or two mistakes, you won't see it again. And I like that.
All right. So one other thing that I want to talk about is Marcus Brady. Okay, he had also a press conference today talking about Jacob Eason and Sam Ehlinger. And he says that Sam Ehlinger obviously is doing well. He's making good reads. He's moving around in the pocket, stuff like that, well with the second team, which is good. It's good. And then the question came up about Eason. And he said Eason is doing very well getting through his progressions. He says in college he wasn't taught to get through his progressions a certain way, the same way as in the NFL. Like apparently in college, you always started with one specific position and worked your way around. But in the NFL, it depends upon what look the defense has. If the defense
That's awesome because today, I in my recording that I gave you and stuff, I wasn't understanding. Like you said, sometimes he'd start at the left of the field, and it was like 1, 2, and 3. You know what I mean? And then later on, it was, in the middle, out. You know what I mean? So, and I just never really understood exactly. It's like I was confused. I can't hear what they're saying and stuff. So I was like, but now that makes a lot of sense because, like you said, you could clearly see him. And at the end of the day, you could see him where he went 1, 2, and 3, and then checked it down to number 4.
Yeah, and that's another thing that Brady was talking about. See, it's not just what the defense is showing; it's individual players on that defense. If a cornerback is showing something in a specific way, then that changes what number read that player that is on your offense is in your progression. So there's a lot to learn coming from college to the pros, especially when you only played 3 years. And there was a year off between your sophomore and your senior year, like Eason's trying to learn. So, and he's also talked about how also in college you have a 1-2 read and then check down, and that's it. And in the pros, it's not like that. Yeah. In the pros, you go 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 before you get to your check down. Mm-hmm. And he says that Eason is moving through those reads really, really well. And even though it's been reported that Eason is, by the local media stating, well, he's doing a lot of checkdowns. But this is after he's went through his reads and realizing these guys are not open through these progressions. And he's moving through really quick and dropping it off for a, 5, 6, 7, 8 yard check down. And Brady's like, I'll take that all day from any quarterback. As long as you make a completion and positive yards, that's either a first down or sets you up real good on the next down, Yeah. And he says that, that is something that he's really been impressed with Eason so far this training camp is that he's been learning this. He hasn't had a chance to learn this kind of stuff throughout all of last year, because he was not working with the ones. He was not working with the twos. He was hardly practicing at all because we had two quarterbacks that were in front of him with, Brissett and obviously, the starter Rivers. So he's a redshirt freshman, basically, getting his feet wet, learning with the ones, and doing as well as he's doing. So I am really pleasantly optimistic that Eason will continue to get better through training camp and possibly be ready to show us really what he has during the first preseason game against the Carolina Panthers. So what are your thoughts on that?
I'm like Coach Rack. I got all kinds of optimism. I got optimism running out of my ears. But no, I do agree with you. And the thing is, you sit there and you talk about how he didn't get much practice time. I'm watching today out there, okay? The third string quarterback, Hundley, he was only getting, I bet he probably only threw 10 or 15 times today, the entire day. But guys, I'm telling you right now, Eason wasn't getting that last year. Last year, if he threw the ball once during practice or something, of a meaningful throw, he just didn't get it because of the COVID and the way that everything had to be condensed and trying to get Rivers and Jacoby Brissett in and acclimated with what, So, everybody's like, they want to treat him like he's a number one quarterback, but he's not. He's our backup quarterback that's being utilized right now in a number one capacity. Okay. And yes, I am very pleased with what he's shown because like we've said repeatedly, the young man can throw the ball, when he's confident or when he trusts the read, he can throw that ball, guys, in the smallest of windows. Okay. And it'll get on the receiver like no time flat. But the thing is I feel like everybody just has these elevated expectations that we want this basically rookie quarterback to come in and perform like we're accustomed to, with whether it's Phillip Rivers or Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning. And it's just, and the thing is it's like that shiny object, okay, if Jacob Eason's not doing it, we automatically think that the backup quarterback, in this case Ellinger, is the solution. And I like Ellinger, but like I said, I think if we were to start putting him in, yes, today, me personally, today was the first day I seen Sam outperform Jacob. Okay. But I hear people, well, give him a shot. If you do that, you're stunning Jacob and limiting his potential. And the thing is we've only got 4.5 weeks left, before our first regular season game. Let's give the kid a chance. He's progressing. It's not like today was the first time where I seen a regression in the way the practice looked to me, because Jacob was everything was coming out hot. Everything was coming out over the receivers' heads. I think he threw 6 or 7 passes over people's heads. And I was just like, man, and you didn't see that with Sam today. So
Absolutely.
Today was the first time that I felt like it fit the narrative of what, a lot of people have been saying.
Close follower brings up a really good point. Matt Stansberry, check downs are great, especially when it goes to the running backs, which is arguably our best players. Now, some teams in the NFL, checking it down to the running back is probably not a good idea. But when you have the Indianapolis Colts backfield of guys who know what to do with the football and can make open field moves, like Jonathan Taylor, like Marlon Mack, like Naheem Hines, these are guys that can take a ball and a check down for 5 yards and turn it into something huge, at any given moment. So, don't always look at the check down as a negative thing. So I will just want to say thanks, everybody. This was my news break. So if you enjoy it, please give me a follow and go check me out on YouTube. And until next time, have a good one. Sorry, I recorded that. Didn't even tell anybody about it. Ha ha. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be my news clip for the day, talking about Jacob Eason. Yeah. So let's see here. Easton has had 2 seasons of playing since high school, right? I mean, pretty much.
Yeah.
Brandon Wood. Hey, what's going on, my guy? The thing about progression is you got to have your super lows to be able to reach those super highs, especially when a rookie is learning from his own mistakes. And you know what? I swear you could take your name, Brandon, and replace it with Colts Loyalist. Those would have been his exact words. I'm not. Am I wrong, Loyalist?
No, no. You learn so much more through the trials and tribulations and mistakes than you'll ever learn by being successful.
Yeah. Stansberry's talking about Micah Parsons. I didn't really watch a whole lot of that game. Watched a little bit of it, but not a whole ton. The thing about this style of offense is that the reads start mid to low with seams and deeps, etc., or your escape/exploits. Yeah, it's mostly mid reads is where you're looking at. Especially when it comes to your crossers or your drags or something of that nature. Everything is your first read is whatever is coming in front of you. And that's important. That is very important. That's the read that Rivers loved a lot. He loved throwing it over the gut, whether it was to quick receivers coming across the middle or tight ends or even running backs when they came out of the pocket and then they would cross over in front and that's where it would go. So still a lot of high hype on Ben Banigou, and I talked to a couple reporters, asked them, have they seen Ben doing ones? And they were like, no, you're right. I mean, he has been very exceptional, but you are right. It's mostly been with the 2s and 3s. That's same thing today, right?
Yeah, today, I mean, I'll be honest with you, a lot of our watchers were wanting us to keep an eye out on more of the exterior and stuff. So what I normally watch from the inside out, I watch the interior and work my way out. Today I focused on trying to watch the outside in, you know what I mean? So I didn't see a whole lot of flashes. I seen Toure. Toure had a real nice play against Tevy. And I mean,
it's all over. It's all over.
Huh?
It was all over social media.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, no. Go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, he just stood him up, and like you say, it was all over.
Yeah. Well, everyone wanted to say that it was showing how bad our left tackle position was, that our starting left tackle was that bad. But when you look at the film, Tebby was bent at the knees. Toure came in hot, came up at him, got his hand up under his arm, lifted him straight up using power and speed to power, got him on his tiptoes, and then used his leverage from getting him up on his tiptoes to push him out of the way and go in for the sack. Now, obviously, it wasn't a sack, but he definitely got to the quarterback before he released that football.
Yeah,
and
like
it was.
I said, he had, by the time I had caught it, he had leverage, and Tevy was, like you said, he was looking up at the sky and just backpedaling, just trying to keep in front of him the best he could.
Yeah, as much as people want to say that was a bad thing on Tevy, that was more of a win for Toure than a loss on Tevy, because Tevy really didn't have that. He could have been a little bit lower, but at the same time, I talk about this all the time. I talk about this all the time where you got to look at why something like that. Toure might have been setting him up. He might have been running speed rush around him the whole time, and maybe Tebby needed to be standing up a little more to have that longer side stride to keep up with that speed rush. And then once Toure saw that, he used that counter move. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in that center of gravity change. He's like, I got it.
Yeah. So, to me, no matter how I look at that video on Toure over Tebby, that was more of a win on Toure than it was a loss on Tebby, because Toure really showed some good stuff on that, and Toure's been doing that all all camp so far, and that brings a lot of hope for us Colts fans who. I know that there was a lot of Colts fans out there saying left tackle was our most important need. Then there was the other half of the Colts fans, like myself, who was saying pass rush. We need to see something out of our pass rush this year early because, we lost our 2 starters in the offseason. And so far, what I've seen has made me feel a lot better about our pass rush going into this 2021 season.
Yeah. And I'll tell you guys, this morning when I drove in, I got there early and everything, and Twitter was already talking about how, Tevy was worse than Chaz Green and LaRaven Clark. And I was just like, no, just no, guys. Okay. It's not. I mean, just in the run game alone, we have an upgrade in Tevy. Okay. Or Holden. I mean, either one, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I would definitely say that, on LaRaven Clark's best day, he is Sam Tevy on his worst. Okay. Well, okay, maybe not his worst, but at subpar Sam Tevy. I mean, Sam is still getting in front of guys, you know what I mean? And making them go around him. Sam is still getting in a position. The only person that I've really seen consistently torch him, and I forget who you said asked about, Pay was just, man, Page just, it's like they're neighbors or something and they're trying to help each other out or something. But, like you said, I mean, guys, the left tackle is not a supremely ideal situation, but I definitely do not compare it to anything like we had last year.
We'll shout out a few of my Patreons who are in here. I might not be able to get to your questions, but I need to shout you out and let you know that I see you here. Like Martin Hazel is in here. What's going on, my guy? Truitt in here. Already shouted him out, but he has a nice little comment saying, not saying he's Peyton, but Peyton did say it was invaluable to be able to start as a rookie. And, Eason, he may not be our starter for the season, but giving him these reps will help him long term. If Wentz works out or doesn't work out, these will just be absolutely invaluable to him going on through the rest of the season. Wentz season, you're also hurting a team who is trying to build some chemistry with Eason if you move around, and I agree with that as well. Tina Matherly, what's up, girl? Hey Lawrence, hi Loyalist. Wondering if there's anything that could be done to help strengthen Sam Ehlinger's throwing arm. How about not just strengthen his arm. He needs to grow about 4 or 5 more inches too. Okay.
And I think there's a lot more to that. That I know you're making it as tongue in cheek, but I'm telling you what. When Sam has a clear path, like he threw this gorgeous 12 or 15 yard out route on the sideline, and it looked like he was throwing it to me with where I was standing or sitting at the bleachers, and this thing had, it had a little bit of arc to it, but it wasn't that big old, I got to get it over these guys. And when he has a clear vision, he throws a real pretty ball, and like I said, he has enough strength. To throw it outside the numbers on a 10 to 15, so it takes a strong enough arm. So it's not that he doesn't have it, but like you said, to me, he's just got to get that clear line of sight, or he doesn't have the confidence to put it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Matt Stansberry's got ourselves a donation in here, and I will get to that in just 1 second. I don't want to lose my thought for Tina's comment. One thing that a lot of people doesn't take into consideration about arm strength, it's not always just arm strength on how you throw the football and the power that you can throw the football with. Jacob Eason's a big dude. Peyton Manning was a big dude. Andrew Luck was a big dude. These big guys know how to use their height, size, weight in with throwing the football when they throw it, and it makes the ball move a lot quicker and further. And Sam Ehlinger is just at a disadvantage from the get-go because he doesn't have that. He is a little dude. For a quarterback, he's a little guy, right? Like
Yeah.
6'1" or something, you know, and like maybe a $190. Whereas Sam Ellinger looks like, you know, I mean, there's only one guy out there on the offense that looks about his size, and that's Mo Alley Cox. And we always talk about how massive Mo is. Sam looks like that when he's in the pocket, you know, standing there towering over everybody. Yeah, there are some workouts that you could do for arm strength, but it's not going to make that much of a difference.
Just real quick, I seen something today. You know how Sam had taken and Jacob was up at doing his reps and stuff. So Sam's back there, and Mo Alley's like right behind the quarterbacks watching the plays and stuff. So Sam takes his helmet and he puts it up here on the top of his head and everything. Okay, and he's standing next to Mo Alley Cox with his helmet extended, and he was still about an inch shorter than Mo Alley Cox was with his helmet up on top of his head like that. I thought that was that just spoke volumes.
Yeah, I get you. All right, so I need to get to this Matt Stansberry donation before I don't want him to think that I forgot about him. He says $10, by the way. Thank you so much, Matt. TGIF nerds, shout out to the viewers, best chatters amongst all Colts content creators. Amen. That's you guys watching and in the chat. You guys are awesome. And you bring some good questions, just like Tina had. I'm craving some Penguin Point. Holla at me anytime we can hook up there and throw down some Wallies and some crinkle fries. I love me some Penguin Point as well, man. I love some Penguin Point as well. Have you ever had Penguin Point, Loyalist?
No, sir. But I prefer that we don't talk about food right now. I haven't eaten it today, so
somebody's
let's wait
a
till
little
the end of the stream for that.
okay. Somebody's a little bit hungry right now. I got you. Understand. All right. I gotta scroll back up to some of the stuff. How about good battles? Have you seen? Okay. First off, Stansberry says, I don't know about the good battles between offensive and defensive line. It seems the defense has already broken our offensive line. Now, I don't see how that's not the case, actually. What happened is with Kelly, that was actually him having his arm jammed up on Eason in a wrong way, and it ended up hyperextending it. And with Quentin, it was a genetic thing, and he just stepped wrong, you know?
Yeah.
And it happens.
And I will tell you, there are some really good battles. You know, I've been watching Glow and Brady. And, you know, and then a lot of times you're seeing Isaac Rochelle, or you're seeing Al-Qadim Muhammad. He flashed out there a little bit today. It was nice to get him back and, you know, off the COVID protocol. But there was definitely some good battles going on the right side of the offensive line.
All right. What's up, Joe Thornburg? Appreciate you being in here, as usual. Kayvon Jackstar has a good question. He heard that Mike Strawn was doing pretty good today. Your thoughts on anything you saw from him? I think he froze on us. Give him a moment. There he is. There he is. Oh, nope, I hear him. Now I see him. He froze up a little bit.
I'm having fits today. I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay. It's okay. Did you see anything?
Technology's winning. Can you ask the question again?
Yeah. Mike Strawn. Anything from him today?
Oh yeah. I thought he had a really good day. He had, excuse me. He had one drop that, I mean, it was a beautiful pass from. Well, that was that 12-yard out on the sideline pass from Ellinger I was telling you about. But he had this play against Xavier Rhodes. By the way, welcome back, Xavier, from Protocol.
And then we lost him. I'm sure he'll be back. He's having all kind of problems right now, but I'm sure he'll get fixed. Zombie Flanders. What's up, my guy? Brett Hurley? Or Hundley? Trying to read that. But yeah, I'll get back to that when he comes back. Okay. Gardaki's playground. What's going on? Ellinger talk yet? Yeah, we talked a little bit about Ellinger. Um, uh, Apparently, I mean, like I said, Ellinger's not doing bad. The thing that really stops him is physical traits that just is not in his favor, right? He's not a very tall quarterback, which means he's not able to see around some things. There's been times when he's had some of his passes knocked down right near the line of scrimmage. And, of course, his arm strength. But aside from that, apparently today he's played rather well. And that's coming from Loyalist himself. You know, he's delivering good balls. Granted, it takes it's mostly kind of slow rainbow passes, but you know he threw them pretty accurately today. So apparently he did well. So that's good. But you also got to remember Ellinger plays with the twos. So you know he's not out there with the ones and the defensive ones, right? From what I'm understanding, as Loyalist comes back, as I see him in here, from what I'm understanding, Strawn beat Xavier Rhodes today on a one-on-one.
Yeah. He was holding him off with his right arm and stuff, and just sat there, and they dropped it right in there, caught it one-handed, and I mean, it was impressive because Xavier come out today, and he was being extra physical. I mean, it was like the first 5 or 6 plays, they actually threw flags for pass interference.
Oh wow!
But yeah, he had a nice shield play and stuff, and then caught it one-handed right there in the end zone. Sorry about that, guys.
Yep. Gardaki said those are the same knocks that Drew Brees had when I was talking about, the physical prowess of Ellinger. The only thing that's holding them back is his height and his arm strength. And yeah, that was the same thing that was about Drew Brees, and look where Drew Brees is at. But to be fair, Drew Brees wasn't a 7th round pick. Drew Brees coming out of college was known he was going to be good. Even though he was shorter, didn't have the super strength, he was incredibly accurate. Incredible. And Ellinger's not known necessarily for accuracy. He's known for getting things done. I'll give him that. But his accuracy comes and goes. So today, it came more than went, apparently. So
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, going back to a question from Zombie Flanders. Brett Hurley? Maybe Hunley. I'm assuming he's talking about but he put an R there instead. Hunley, how'd he look today?
He really didn't get many opportunities. Like I said, I think he may have thrown the ball 10, 15 times, and it was just nothing that stood out. I mean, there was, this was a heavy day for Jacob. I mean, I'd say he was probably about a 2-to-1 ratio over Sam today. It was more him, and Farrod Green was just getting a ton of work out of the tight end position for the offense. I mean, a ton.
Farrod Green looked good 2 days ago when I went. Oh my god, and he's big. And yeah, I was impressed from what I saw from Green. I really was.
Have you heard of anything? Because I seen Granson out there early in the morning and stuff. He was actually working, like doing some blocking drills or whatever it was with Penter and Fries. But then I just didn't see him a whole lot. And I like I said, I don't know if he got off the field or what. The only injury that I noticed for sure was Julian Blackman. He left early today. Looked like he'd gotten twisted up at the lower part of his body.
Yeah, I did hear about that as well. In the end, Chris Troger says quarterbacks really come down to their decision making, right? Being able to process and deliver accurate, timely passes are very important as well. But really, I think Ellinger has done very good in his decision making. When a guy is open downfield, he'll pull the trigger, and when it's not, he moves down to the next one. And he's like I said, he's moving through those progressions rather quickly. Eason is, and it's better to hit that check down on your third or fourth read and pick up 5, 6, 7 yards than hold the ball too long and end up with a sack or something, or a forced fumble. So
Absolutely.
All right. Anything else just out there that you maybe want to talk about that we haven't covered really?
Yes. Today, there was, and I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, but I can give you his number 36, and he's logged as a cornerback, and I noticed that he was getting a lot of he was working deep safety, single high safety a lot of the time. So I was noticing that they were doing a lot more, and this was even before Blackman had left. I mean, he started the day, and it's a crazy last name. I can't remember how to pronounce, or I would never guess how to pronounce it.
Shasheri? Andre Shasheri or something like that?
Andre somebody.
Andre somebody.
Andre Shasheri. But yeah.
I got my roster right here.
Yeah. I was doing that a lot today because, like I said, they were asking me to look for the fringe guys. Tariq Black had a nice catch for, I forget who asked last night. Wanted to let them know that Tariq Black did flash one play. The thing I noticed also was that, like I said, the safeties, and I didn't see Roland Milligan. I didn't see Odom out on the field, doing any defense or anything. So I was told that somebody said that Milligan was released. So I'm really sort of interested to know what's going on, because, I mean, you hear about them giving Clinton Dix a test and stuff like that. And I'm wondering, is there something more that we're not seeing with the safeties? I mean, have you heard anything?
Well, our rookie hasn't been out there.
Well, yeah.
And that could have something to do with it, I haven't heard what's going on with Sean Davis, but I haven't seen him all camp. I've seen the other Sean Davis from Pittsburgh, but I haven't seen our rookie Sean Davis. So that's kind of had me a little bit, But from what I understand,
he was out there walking around with Darius and stuff today. But I mean, he wasn't
playing
like that out there doing anything.
No. So, but then again, they came in and looked at him. That doesn't necessarily mean anyone was signed, right? I don't remember hearing anything about anyone being signed. So, and that was like yesterday. So, we probably would have heard something by now. Gary Thompson says, 2 of my favorite teams played last night. Whoever's playing Dallas and whoever's playing Pittsburgh. Needless to say, my team didn't win. That's pretty funny, Gary. That's pretty funny. I like that.
So also got to see our last week, that cornerback that we picked up. By the way, thank you, Kevin Bowen. I was like looking at the book there, and I was like, who's 35? Who's 35? And I couldn't find out. And I got on the roster on my phone and I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, who is this dude? So I was like, walked down there and I said, hey, KB. They said, and KB was on it, man. He sat there and he told me, oh, yeah, who it was and where he went to school. And I was just like, he just made me look a lot smarter. I was like, appreciate you, brother. Hill, I think it was, yeah, he was out there today and wasn't really, I mean, he was sort of acclimating himself and stuff. Was he out there the other day when you were out there?
I don't recall. So,
okay.
Yeah. Interesting question from Matt Stansberry, who obviously loves to talk football, and I have no problem with that. You may or may not have a thought on this, but he asked, do you guys think that the Eagles will score Watson? And I think this whole situation boils down to whether or not the Texans will let Watson walk.
Mm-hmm.
That's the honest. They didn't want Watson to leave when Watson said, I want traded, right? They did not want him to go anywhere. And then everything started piling up on him. Curiously. I'm not going to throw out my conspiracy theories, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. And it's like I follow a lot of the AFC South teams, I'm trying to keep up with what, and I heard them, the Texans, that not only did they say they aren't going to trade him, they're refusing calls on it right now. They fully expect Deshaun to be their quarterback this year.
Yeah. And
that surprises me. I'm like, I think I'd at least take calls because you know how it is when a quarterback's not happy. You know what I mean?
Oh, I get you. And if another team is going to offer you 3 first-round picks or 4 first-round picks, for a player who don't want to be there, take what you can get. And when what you can get is a huge haul, might as well. You could use those first-round picks to go trade for somebody else later.
Yeah.
It may not be a Deshaun Watson, but...
And that's an extraordinary haul for somebody who you don't even know, if he's going to have any repercussions, into the season. Is he going to be eligible to play? I mean,
well,
I know right now he's still clear, but I mean, I think there's still going to be some resolution, and I'm interested to see what Goodell does with it.
We're at the point of the season. At this point, this has been going on for months and months and months.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL has had people investigating for months and months and months and months. We're going into 2 weeks into training camp already. I have a feeling that if the NFL had any evidence against Watson, he would have already been put on the exempt list. The fact that he hasn't been put on the exempt list, I think, speaks massive evidence for Watson probably end up going to be able to play this year, because it's this point of the season. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And my only comment to that is, go Philly.
I will not complain if Philadelphia goes. I think it'll be funny if Philly gets Watson, because, Philly's like, oh, we don't need Wentz. We want Wentz out of here. We have Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is our guy. He's our starting quarterback, and we're going to go get Watson. They would rather trade 3 first-round picks for, as you said, someone who may not even be able to play this year than start Jalen Hurts. What does that tell you about how they really feel about Mr. Hurts?
See, and that's the thing. This young man, they've sat there and if all that public stuff is, what type of message are you sending the team? Even if they don't get a Deshaun Watson, what type of message are you setting to the team in the locker room? I can see that being a tricky little mess to weave your way in and out of right now.
So how's the Colts Avenger doing? Have you seen the Avenger movies?
Yes.
Marvels?
Yeah.
Marvel, Tell.
Oh, okay.
He's the Colts Avenger.
I'm sitting here thinking about a guy snapping his finger. I'm like,
yeah. Marvel Tell's like snap, and then half the offense is gone.
Yeah. It was cool because today he did well against Strong. Well, meaning that he wasn't getting just left in the dirt. But I will say that DeMarcus Harris had a nice
DeMichael Harris.
And Tell was just like, well, okay, I'm out of place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as a whole, he seems to be not bad for a guy that's, now, over a year off from football and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I would say by far today for me with the cornerbacks, it was Kenny Moore, Xavier Rhodes, Rock Ya-Sin. And I'll tell you right now, number 2 and number 3, as far as today alone, not overall, but just for today alone, Rock, I felt like had a really pretty good day today. And Kenny Moore, they kept matching him up against Pittman. And I'll tell you right now, Kenny's got that little undercut move that he did it against Oakland to he's got that thing down nice. I mean, because Pittman's got what, 5-6 inches on more,
Maybe more.
and this was an enjoyable battle to watch all day long, and a lot of it today was, other than the last section, was shortened. Either you were backed up, on the one within the 5-yard line to the goal line, or they were doing from the 10 out. So there wasn't a lot of room to work. You know what I mean? But yeah, some of that end zone drills was pretty interesting today.
All right, guys, we're 50 minutes in. Please don't forget, smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time I go live. Don't forget, the description of this video's got 157 links that you can go to. One of them, most definitely, is my news break link, where you could catch, it's just our news. It's not our live streams. It's just quick hitters, usually 5 to 15 minute videos. And how you can do that? Well, this is how you can go check us out on Newsbreak. This video is sponsored by Newsbreak. Newsbreak is an app used over 1.5 billion times a month by people just like you to get local news via articles or videos by those who are focused on that specific area. People like myself. Just use the link in the description of this video to download it. Then search a city, state, or someone specific, like myself, Colts Law. Then make sure to follow them so you'll get all the news fresh as it comes out. Don't forget, that link is in there, and every time if you've never used that link and you use it, and you give me a follow, you earn us some money, and it's free for you, and it helps support us. Also, don't forget that the link right at the top of the description is a super chat that you saw Matt Stansberry use a little bit ago. I'd rather you use that than any kind of YouTube chat. And then, of course, there's my merch shop, the link to my merch shop, really cool stuff that in there. I think it's high quality stuff for decent prices. I try to keep my prices down to make them easier for you. I don't make that much, in honest to goodness. Like this hat right here, I think I'd make $3 off of it. Ain't nothing. I know a lot of people are out there like, oh, well, why do you do that? Well, you should make $10 off of it. But then, no one's going to want to buy it because it's a freaking $40 hat. Who wants to spend $40 on a hat?
You can get 2 hoodies here for the price of one on most all other merchandise for a lot of people.
Yeah. And I think I make $4 off the hoodies, So
and those hoodies are wicked good, guys.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, I've got one. I don't wear it right now because it's like summertime, but I mean, I've got, some nice t-shirts and things like that as well, and cups and mouse pads and all kinds of stuff. So really, really cool stuff. Thanks to everybody for being in here. They were talking about the Duke running back.
Jackson.
Mm-hmm. Dion.
Yeah. Didn't see a lot from him today. A lot of today was, like I said, just the quarterbacks. Just really, JT. Short handoffs and stuff to JT and Naheem, but a lot of it was just screen passes and short and intermediate throws and stuff. I don't know that I seen a single throw that cleared 20 yards in the air today at all. I think the longest one was pretty cool. It was dumped it off to Naheem in the end zone. He was like 3 yards deep in formation, caught it on the goal line, and I think he ended up taking that for a good 15, 20 yards there.
Okay. Yeah, what's up? I ain't seen you in here in a while. Oh, I know what it is. I saw you Wednesday when I was on Ray's stream, and I said, I ain't seen you in a while, and now you're here. Thank you. I appreciate that. Everyone who shows up, man, I appreciate like heck, man. Toxic says, when did evidence ever matter to the NFL? Well, you got a video of someone kicking someone, and next thing you know, he's not on the team no more, and he's suspended for 6 months. You got a video of someone hitting somebody, and they're gone for a year. Evidence does present, but when there is no evidence, then they can't really exempt you with no evidence. At least that's
Yeah.
my thought. Now, I know I'm skipping a bunch of stuff in here, and I kind of have to because chat moves like crazy. So, again, if you want to make sure that your question or comment is caught, make sure you use that super chat link in the bottom of the description of the video, and it will definitely get in there. Kardaki's Playground says, Philly fans are the Karens of the NFL. Never satisfied. There's evidence for that. That's what I'll say. But we also got to remember that their head coach is Nick Sirianni.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, sadly, I got to root a little bit for Philly because I like Nick Sirianni. You know? I think he's put in a bad situation, and I figure if there's anyone that could pull that organization together, it'd be Nick. And I've seen video evidence of Nick out there, just like he was doing with the Colts as the offensive coordinator. As the head coach, he's out there running with the running backs, doing their sidestep drills. Like his hands are on their shoulder pads, pushing them back and forth, following them all the way down the sidestep drills. And I'm like, that is the kind of coach Philly needs. A hands-on, in your face. You gain respect with that. And I think that's one of the reasons why Nick was hired over some of the guys like everybody was like, well, why didn't the Kansas City coordinator get hired? Well, Nick's a different style of, coach.
Right.
He's more of a hands-on guy.
Something Colts related that was pretty cool for me. Like I told you guys, I was a fan of football forever and a day. Okay, 84, the Colts. But today, anyhow, seeing a young man out there on the field lifting them knees and stretching everything out, and I was like, you still got it, young man. And Coach Mawai just come over, and he's like, yeah, I know I do. Just don't let them know. And that was just really cool. I sat there, I got done, because like I said, since I've started doing the YouTube and stuff, it's like, hey, I'll talk to anybody now. And I got done talking to him, and I just was walking back up to my seat going, I just talked to a Hall of Fame lineman. That's awesome. Yep. And then Coach Rowe was out there today. I'll tell you what, we always see Bubba, and he's always super energetic. Coach Rowe is no slouch at getting these guys hyped, the secondary coach.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, he was out there, and I mean,
Grove's the wide receivers coach.
Not Rowe.
Oh, Rowe.
Okay.
Rowe. Okay.
Yeah, he was out there, and I'll tell you what, man, he was sweating just as much as them guys, and he'd only been out there for 10 minutes.
Millsap, what's going on? Kenneth Human, do you see Paris Campbell going off in fantasy? If this man stays healthy, Paris Campbell will be a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL, yardage-wise. I've already stated that he'll lead the Colts in receiving yards. If he stays healthy the whole season, I think he'll be a top 10 yardage guy. Just because I have yet to see someone who can consistently cover that guy out there, for the Colts. I have yet to see anyone that can you put more on him, and he's too big and fast for more. Tell was on him, and Tell's quick, but Tell doesn't have the ability to stop and go the way Paris does. And I've watched Paris just put Tell on spin cycle, Now, I haven't seen, obviously, I personally have not seen some of the outside corners on him because, well, frankly, they've not been here because, COVID. TJ came back earlier this week, and then, Rhodes just came back today. And Paris, anyhow, plays slot majority of the time, so you don't see a lot of that. I did see Rock play against him once or twice, and he beat Rock bad. It wasn't Rock's fault. Rock just could not keep up. He did a double move and was downfield wide open, it would have been a touchdown. The quarterback would be able to have seen him, but he didn't see him because he had already got past him on his progressions and was looking at the next guys. But yeah, it was nasty. Rock just don't have the speed to keep up with someone like that. I don't think most cornerbacks, when they're big,
Yeah.
don't
Maybe
have
Ramsey.
right. Maybe Jalen Ramsey. That'd be an interesting fight right there. I really do think Paris Campbell has the ability to be, one of them high-end receivers because of how not only fast he is, but quick. Because there's a difference between speed and quickness, right? You could have top-end speed, but it's that quickness, that start and stop and change of direction. That's what gets you open. And
Yeah,
Paris,
that's your separation. Yeah.
mm-hmm, and Paris is really, really good at that. All right. I think I'm done. I think I caught all the way down at the bottom end. Yai says, Owen, that is bold. I think he's top 20 yardage wise. 700 to 1K depends upon the quarterback. I think he has the potential to get at least 1,200 yards as a wide receiver. I'm not saying he's going to lead the team in touchdowns. I'm not saying he's going to lead the teams in receptions. I think he's going to have like 15 plus yards per reception because of his yak yards. And I think he's going to be scary dangerous between the 20s. Because there just hasn't been too many guys with his ability. Even in the NFL and as a whole. Paris is scary. Paris is really scary.
And the cool thing about Paris, and I guess you don't really get it until you see him. He's thicker than you think. He's not that. And then this is no knock on Strawn, but Strawn's got that real lean frame and everything. Paris, he's got legs of like a running back out there. You know what I mean? Seriously, and like you said, man, that footwork is just it's special.
All right. Kayvon Jackstar does bring up a really good point. He says that he thinks that we'll have 3 receivers. Blah, blah, blah. I will learn to speak English sometime in my adult life. That we will have 3 receivers with 700 plus yards. And that is the only way I think Paris does not end up blowing up the stat sheets. Is that the Colts continue to be that team that they have been for the last few years of just spreading the ball around to everyone, because the Colts have so many weapons that you will see the ball go to multiple different people. And if that happens, Paris's numbers might suffer a little bit. But I seriously think Paris has that ability to be a scary, even though he's a slot receiver, he could put up number 1 wide receiver numbers, and that's what I see from that. I would put, if I had a fantasy league, and I don't play fantasy, okay? I watch a lot of fantasy played. I understand how fantasy is played. Last year, I gave my advice to a lot of people who played fantasy, and they won a lot, right? Mm-hmm. Paris Campbell is a middling pick, right? Someone you're going to pick up in the 5th or 6th rounds of your fantasy draft and grab him because he's going to be cheap, because no one knows anything about him and they think that he's going to get hurt, and yet he's going to be a starter week in and week out for you. And that's how I see it. I really do.
And I bet that is the way to play that, is just, if you're going to take a risk on somebody a little later in the draft, then that'd be a good choice for you. I like that.
Kenneth Heumann said, he picked Paris Campbell on my last round on my fantasy because I knew that my friends didn't know who he was. And that's exactly how it works. Now, if you're playing with professional guys in the fantasy, Paris is going to be picked a little bit earlier than the dead last round. But I still think, mid-late, early-late rounds would be a good time to pick him up. because either way he's going to outperform the selection that you do on him. At least that's how I see it. Take it if you want to. Don't if you don't. It's no skin off my back. Yeah, it says I can get him undrafted right now in my league. I'll wait until after week 1. Keep an eye. Be careful. Be careful, because week 1 against Seattle, there's not anyone on that team that can cover Paris. Paris might blow up for 120 yards that game, and then he might be taken immediately in that fantasy draft. I'm just saying, okay? That's a game that he could really light it up. Because who's going to cover him? Jamal Adams? Yeah, right. Okay, Jamal can hit people at the line of scrimmage and is a good downhill tackler, but he ain't keeping up with Paris. But anyhow, guys, it's been a minute 6. We did pretty good through here. We got 24 viewers. Please don't forget to smash that like button. Anthony Hurt, what's up? So all of our starters going to start second half of the season. No. Wentz is looking to start anywhere from day 1 to week 6. Nelson from day 1 to week 6. Fisher, day 1 to week 6. These are all estimated timelines for them to come back. Okay? So
Kelly will be back.
Kelly will be back next week. Ryan
Darius
Kelly.
Leonard will be
Darius
back by
Leonard.
week 1.
Yeah. Darius Leonard will be back either next week or the week after. So they're all going to be back soon. So just let you know. Yeah. That is what it is. Also, love and peace for those that catch or caught the COVID. I'm going to tell you, I don't know a single person in my family, and I have at least 30 people that work in the medical field in my family, and no one in my extended family of 200 plus people have caught COVID. No one. And I've got doctors and nurses, lots of doctors, lots of nurses. I've been saying this ever since it started. None of them have caught it. And, I understand a lot of people have. I'm not saying it's a fake thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't get me there. I'm not saying that. I'm not some conspiracy theorist. I'm just saying that I guess my family's been really, really lucky. And if you haven't been lucky, then I hope and pray that you get through it quickly and healthily and recover as fast as possible. Yeah, all right. Says before you leave, how is Eric Fisher? Eric Fisher is running sprints on the field before practice. Sprints right now. Running from one end to the other. Hard stop on, hard stop. Hard start, hard stop on the injured foot. Which leads me to believe that he's progressing very well and will probably be out there practicing within a few weeks. So just, thank you for the question. Yeah, all right. Guys, I'm going to jump out of here. I'm going to give Loyalist a little bit of time because I know what it's like coming back from training camp and then coming in here and talking. I know it's just draining. And he's going again tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a Patreon-only stream. Okay, tomorrow night. Should look for it around 8 p.m. And if you want to see it, join my Patreon. Link is in the description, all the way at the bottom. $5 a month. That's all it takes. And you can join my live streams. You not only get to watch and comment in the chat like you're doing now, but you also get a link to join if you'd like to join and join in the conversation. Guys like Joe Thornburg or Ross, my boy Ross, he's been in here a few times. Joe's been in here a few times. We have a great time. We don't just talk Colts. We just talk football and whatever comes up. Okay? Because, yeah, I mean, it's there to talk about training camp, and it starts out that way. But it's for Patreon. So we end up talking about whatever the heck we want to talk about. You know, whatever you guys want to talk about, we end up talking about. You want to talk about how your new cookie cutter isn't cutting properly. Cool. That's what we'll talk about. Because
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, guys. I know at first I was real nervous about doing this stuff and everything. So if you want to join and you want to partake in the conversation, but you don't want to be on camera or whatever, Law's got it set up to where you can sit there and put a picture up and just, you know, and then we still see that you're there, and we, you know what I mean, and you get the audio. And
yeah,
I mean, I did it the other day because I came back from camp and I was a little banged up on the back. So you know, I was like, I don't need anybody seeing this. So like I said, guys, it's a very fun, relaxed atmosphere. And we, like he said, we have a great time.
Yep, absolutely. All right, guys, I'm out. Chuck, Kayvon, Anthony, Yai, all you guys that are in here, please don't forget to smash that like button. If you got a social media, you enjoyed this stream, please share it to your social media. There's that little button right below Loyalist, man, a little red button that says share. Click that and send it to one, you know, whether it's Twitter or Instagram or whatnot. What's up, Loyalist?
Just wanted to let everybody know about the Seattle game and stuff, you know what I mean? And, you know, how you're going to be able to get in there and give us first-hand knowledge about what goes on.
Yep, Colts Beat. One of the members of Colts Beat is getting me into the game with one of his tickets. So shout out to Colts Beat. Go give them a check out. I completely spaced that, and I shouldn't have. So thanks for the reminder, Loyalist. Go check out Colts Beat. Go to Twitter. I'm sure Colts Beat is anywhere that you can you listen to podcasts, audio podcasts, and of course, I've already signed my new contract with Believe in Colts. I've got me a co-host coming up here pretty soon with that. It's not Loyalist, but I think you'll probably really like my co-host. I can't say who it is, but yeah. So go check that out. We'll probably be dropping the first episode a week or so from now. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Colt Loyalist. This was Colts Law talking about Friday, August 6th, Indianapolis Colts training camp. And as usual, have a good one.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make him a household name.